Blog Talk Radio.
Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. And I am the light within your soul. In the essence of truth and right, love makes the circle whole. And here we stand in line, waiting for some sacred sign. But to find the balance is the purpose of this time. To restore the balance of the universal mind. And in the presence of my Lord of light and love, everything I see aspiring to be free. And when I call to thee, and come on bended knee, surrender to the all-pervading light and love. Reflections of the one surrounding me with love. And I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. Within and without, above and below, yeah. East, west, north and south, I sense your presence. Without and within, below and above, yeah, yeah. East, west, north and south, I sense your presence. I sense your presence. In the presence of my Lord of light and love, everything I find in tune with the divine. And here we stand in line, waiting for some sacred sign. But to find the balance is the purpose of this time. To restore the balance of the universal mind. And I am the light within your soul. In the essence of truth and right, love makes the circle whole. And when I call to thee, and come on bended knee, surrender to the all-pervading light and love. Reflections of the one surrounding me with love. For to find the balance is the purpose of this time.
Welcome to Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour. My name is Jesse Ann Nichols George, and the music you were listening to there at the beginning of the show is called I Sense Your Presence. It's by Shemshai, and that is one of the artists that I'm going to be featuring here on the show. This is our very first showing here on the radio for Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour, so I welcome everybody that's showing up to be here and show your support and find out what we're going to be doing here. Just to give you an idea, if you've caught any of my previous interviews with either Daniel or Kevin, you are a little bit familiar with the work that I do. I focus on helping people find and use their compassion in everyday lives. So I created a aspect that we worked with last week on Kevin's show, Walking on the Sidewalk, and that's called the Genesis Clearing Statement. A couple of people had the fun of calling in, and we worked with that to do a little bit of clearing with them. We also used that statement for opening up energy and creating things in our life. I've also authored 2 books, Activating Compassion and Activating Compassion, the Workbook. Some of you may have heard that. Some of you may be brand new to that. And again, it's all about helping the everyday person bring compassion into their everyday life. In addition to that, I've created the Compassion Tour, and that is a blend of seminars, workshops, book signings. It also has fundraisers on it, which is really exciting. We're going to be highlighting some of those people along the way, and I'm actually going to be broadcasting from the road quite a bit here over the next couple of months from the different locations while I'm on tour. We've got many, many great things that I'm going to be having happen on this show. We're going to be looking at the different ways that compassion exists in our lives and how to remove our blocks, resistances, frustrations, and more. Some weeks we will be discussing different aspects of how compassion is in and how it affects our life, and also the different areas of compassion. Some weeks we're going to be doing more exercises and practical implementation. So when you tune in, we may be doing some meditation work. We may be looking at how to structure questions and how to work with affirmations. That'll be really exciting. So we'll be doing a more practical implementation on some shows. And many times I'm going to have guests on the show so that you can learn about their work and how other things complement and work with compassion, because we have compassion of ourselves, we have compassion with others, and what we're finding is that things like health and nutrition and success and all these different areas actually blend very well, and they're actually a piece of what compassion is all about. I'm going to, as I mentioned, be highlighting some different musical artists along the way. And also, I will have some nights that is going to be all about you. So it's going to be about you being able to call in and take advantage of my coaching skills and some of the work I do, which is called integrated development. And that is a blend of using all kinds of things from numerology and astrology and over 30 years of experience of working with coaching clients. I tap into feng shui, just a whole array of areas and experiences that I'll be bringing to you. So we will definitely have some of those nights, and those will be great because when you call in, it's really wonderful. It helps other people who may be going through a similar thing or know of somebody that's going through a similar thing get some insight and experience. So that'll be really, really great too. Just for any of those, remember, like I said, when you're sharing those experiences, it's helping more than yourself. So tonight what I have is I have 2 guests for you. First, we're going to be bringing on Jen Prothero tonight, and then a little bit later in the program tonight, we're going to be bringing in Todd Stockwell. And both Jen and Todd are working with me on my Compassion Tour. They are going to be at my stop, which is in Belleville, Michigan, just outside of Detroit. And that is going to be the event that we're having on October 2nd through 4th. It's a 3-night event. It's happening from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the evening. And this particular event is going to be highlighting Jen's work in doing crystal bowl meditation work. And it will be focusing on helping you to find and create your divine path. So this is really incredible. If you've ever thought about being a messenger or stepping into your passion or just want to try to figure out more about what you want to do and how to live in a space of abundance and well-being, then this is going to be something that you're really going to want to take part in. Todd also has a huge background in abundance and prosperity, and we'll be bringing that into the workshop as well. Between the 3 of us, we've got several decades of experience, and again, I'm so blessed to be working with these people. Both of them are just amazing people with with a huge amount of experiences to bring into it. And just to remind you that if you enjoy the show, make certain that you're telling your friends, your family, whoever else that you know. If you want to share it on Facebook, wherever you are, and your social media, please feel free to do that because they can always listen to it in our archives right here. And so before we get talking with our guest tonight, I have a little feature that I want to share with you, and I'm going to be bringing this in quite a bit from week to week. And it's a book that's called The 72 Names of God. It is done by Yehuda Berg, and Yehuda is an ordained rabbi and is internationally renowned as a leading authority on Kabbalah. So the foundations for this is Kabbalah. And what I want to do is to just kind of go in and randomly draw one of these names to see kind of where our energy is going to be at tonight and kind of a little message that we have for all of us here. Sometimes what I like to do with this book is like if I'm just seeking an answer or trying to get some clarity on things in my life, I'll just kind of take the book and think about it and then open it up and see what comes up. So that's what I'm going to do tonight here. So let's see what we get. And it looks like tonight what I've got here is circuitry. And here, in the dictionary, circuitry is kind of defined as a black hole, and it's considered a cosmological phenomenon with a gravitational field that's so strong that even light cannot escape from it. Something resembling a black hole as something that consumes a resource continually, a financial black hole. When we look at this from an insight standpoint, it's a constant desire to receive for the self alone creates a bottomless pit, a black hole that eventually leaves us in darkness. The dark side of our nature tells us that we're doing others a favor when we share. Our ego makes us oblivious to the fact that we receive when we give to others. We can greedily and selfishly grab for all that life offers, or we can appreciate what we receive and share a portion of it with others. So receiving for the sake of sharing creates a circuitry, a constant flow of good fortune in our lives. The secret behind sharing is found inside the numerical value of this particular name of God, which is 118, the exact same numerical value of the Hebrew word for will take. When we share, we are actually taking and receiving blessings in return. But if we share with a consciousness of giving something up or doing someone a favor, that circuitry is broken. So like light trapped in a black hole, the blessings that should have been ours are unable to reach us. With this name, it helps you to receive when you share and share when you receive. You see the opportunity that sharing gives, and you are aware that when you receive with the right consciousness, you are also sharing. This is the circuitry of life. Connect to it, and you move out of the black hole and into the light. So this is really important when I'm looking at compassion work, because a lot of times people think, well, I just need to get out there and I need to give and I need to just, put everything out there. And what we really want to do is we want to come from that conscious space of not necessarily just giving to get, but that conscious space of sharing with one another and knowing that when you're sharing, you're going to get something back and it's going to work out well for you. So that is our focus out of the 72 names of God for tonight. And now what I want to do is I'd like to move on, and I'd like to bring on Jen Prothero. And when I think of this, I have a couple of questions that come to mind and in her work, and that is, have you ever wanted to get aligned with your true self? And would you like to feel total health and wellness? For Jen Prothero is the creator and operator of Spiritual Sparkles. She's an angel therapy practitioner. She's certified with Doreen Virtue. She's a Reiki master and teacher, an intuitive life coach, meditation specialist, and sound vibration healer. Her healing modalities continue to grow and change, each one leading to the next as though being laid out in order by her spirit guides. She practices in Chatham, Ontario, and offers services via phone, email, internationally. She teaches workshops, passing on wisdom to others, and can come and teach at your event if you need her to do that. Jen is the author of the children's books Fairies Teach Forgiveness, and that is a book to assist children with forgiveness and living in harmony. Jen works with crystal singing bowls, adding a guided meditation for deep healing and clearing of energy, and this changes the vibration of each cell, bringing you into alignment. You can always learn more about Jen at her website, which is jenprothero.webs.com. And let me go ahead and bring her on.
Hello,
Jen.
Hi,
How are
Jess.
you?
How are you? I'm great.
I'm doing great. And I guess I should let people know, too, this is such a great turnaround because it wasn't that long ago that you were interviewing me.
Absolutely. And it's funny how, modern technology has brought our light together, so to say. You're in Utah and I'm in Canada.
That's right. That's right. And this show is based on East Coast time, too. So it's definitely very different. Now, you've got a really interesting blend of things in your background. I mean, I noticed that between you and Todd and me, we all have like this huge diversity of things in our background. But I would love for you just to share a little bit with our listeners tonight and for those that are listening in the archives. Who is Jen Prothero, and what is your journey about that led you to do the things that you're doing?
Well, Jess, it's been a wonderful journey, as all of them are. It's not always easy, but well worth the trip. And I always tell people that no matter what you're going through on your journey, it's worth diving into the inner self. And that's what happened with me. I was in a job that I really didn't like and was wanting out and wondering what it was that I wanted to do when I grew up. And that query or question has taken me on this journey. I was started being guided to read different books, Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, Doreen Virtue. And it just, led me down this path. I started out being certified as an angel therapy practitioner with Doreen Virtue in Hawaii, which it was, a beautiful first step on this journey. And have followed this path, which has taken me on to Reiki practitioner, to a Reiki master teacher. I've been working with the crystals, and at the time when I was taking my course in Texas to do some crystal work, I received a crystal bowl healing session. And that dream of having my own set of crystal healing bowls or crystal singing bowls, I had for 3 years, and that came to fruition this year. And I've been working with those, and the healing that I have experienced, and that the feedback that I get from my clients it's amazing, the healing from the crystal bowls. But really my journey started on having to heal myself. And, going through that journey, I obviously had to learn how to heal myself in order to be able to assist others in healing themselves. And that journey is a forever type of journey that I'm on. There's always a deeper level of healing that has to happen. And the more we get into that healing process, the more the modalities I seem to need to not only heal myself but to help my clients. And as you said, with your integrated healing that you do, it's like I'm finding recently that one modality really isn't doing it anymore. I need to combine a Reiki session with the crystal singing bowls, or with using crystals with my Reiki session, or bringing in the angels. There's always, it doesn't seem to be that one modality is really doing it anymore. It seems to take more, and I find that's why I have been guided to all these different modalities, and even this year I've picked up a couple of more, working with some EFT and working with Ho'oponopono, and then some coaching along with my clients. So it's forever. It's a forever learning journey that I'm on, and I'm sure everybody's on. And I just love where it's taken me so far.
And I have to agree with you, because I'm always bringing in new aspects and new tools and new developments into my own work as well. And I think you really hit on something that I've found with my work that you mentioned, and that is that one thing just doesn't really quite cover it all anymore. And I wonder if that is really related, because we're all so different. I mean, it's just like when we're born into this world and we have this astrological chart and we have this numerology aspect there, and we're all just really individualized. And so that one format, we need more. We need to be able to adjust, and it allows for that custom working, which really goes into a deeper level, and it really goes into working with people so that they get that maximum effect.
Yeah, yes, I agree. I agree there that everybody's unique. I also find that right now, with the energies in the universe and everything that's going on, and people awakening at I think at a quicker pace right now, and they're dealing with issues that are quite deep. And so maybe that's why it's taking, we need to be incorporating more of our modalities into a session than just the one.
And that's a really great point, because when we look at the planets that are going on right now, and we look at how big and globally we're being affected by this awakening, I mean, one of the things that is being said over and over again these days is that the people that are bringing their gifts out right now, the people that are willing to step on their path and willing to become the messenger and willing to follow their passion, are the people that are really going to have a big impact. So when you mention that, part of my experience, and I don't know how it is for you, is that I'm really seeing that we're working on a lot of teachers, not only the people that are stepping on their path, but also a lot of the people that are going to have that bigger impact along the way.
Yes, I'm seeing a lot of that, and I don't want to be biased on any one thing, but I'm finding that a lot of women, clients that I have right now, are really going through that. Like a few new clients that I've had this week, and both of them, just stepping onto their path, and I can tell, they have this huge purpose and gift to give the world, and it's just awakening now, and so it's really cool to see that, and to be able to help guide someone along that journey, when they're just coming and saying what's going on with me. I'm feeling completely out of whack, and yet I know that I'm being pulled towards something. And so I agree, yes, those teachers are coming out of the woodworks.
And I noticed, too, that there's a lot of people that, and I think when you talk about it being women, and there are certainly those men out there as well that are feeling very drawn to, But I think part of that has to do with that sort of goddess age that we've heard about for a long time, where that energy, that feminine energy, that mothering energy, that intuitive energy is coming out, and people are needing more nurturing, they're needing more caring, they're needing more tools to work with things, because we're seeing certain things like dyslexia come up and ADHD and the indigo children and all of these different groups, and they're needing different ways of doing things. I hear it a lot where I get people that come on and that I'm working with in a coaching capacity, and they're like, I can feel something happening. I can feel it's going to break through, but I don't know what it is, and I don't know what to do with it, and I don't know where I'm going.
That's exactly what I've heard about 3 times this week from 3 new clients. That's exactly what I've heard.
And I'm excited because I think with the venue that we have coming up with Todd, that's really going to be addressed, I think, very strongly in answering that question and in helping people get that clarity for that. I know one of the things that you're going to be working on with us, and I kind of wanted to really bring that out tonight, is the work that you do with crystal singing bowls. I know a lot of people are familiar with those. Perhaps they might have seen them in a store or things like that, but if you can maybe shed a little bit of light more about what that involves and how you work with those.
Okay, sure. Well, each of the bowls, I have a set of 7 bowls, and they're the set that I have are made of the clear crystal quartz, and each of the bowl is attuned to one of our chakras in the body. And so as I play each of those bowls, it works on that specific chakra. And when I'm doing a session, either privately or in a group, I take the group on a guided meditation that's more general of the chakra system. When I'm working with someone on a one-on-one basis, what I'm doing is taking this, maybe they're going through a specific situation or want clarity on a specific thing, or there's a specific emotion that they'd like to heal, or part of their body that they'd like to heal. Everything is connected. And so one instance or one situation is going to affect each and every one of our chakras. And so I can really get deeply into that situation or that emotion and take them on a journey, a meditation journey, that allows them to get into that emotion, to get really relaxed and get into that emotion and how that affects each of the chakras and each area of our life. And while I'm playing the bowl, and so the sound vibration is doing the healing, as well as the meditation healing is helping them to get into that emotion or get into that situation and release the pain, release the thoughts, and release the emotions that have a stronghold on them. And so the sound vibration is washing away the energy that's trapped in our cells, that's trapped in our body. It's vibrating that out of our body. And that brings the vibrational level of the cells up. So it's raising the vibration of the cells. And so that's bringing us more into harmony with our true self, with our overall complete wellness. We're coming into alignment with that. And, I've had so much feedback from people, especially in the group sessions that I do, where I usually do it at a yoga studio, and the feedback I get is, I just want to go home and wrap myself in a blanket and really allow myself to integrate what I've just experienced. I just want to be by myself. I want to be, cuddled up, warm, safe, and just allow my body to really experience this. And other feedback I've had is like the feeling of walking on clouds, the feeling of complete harmony. And everybody, the thing with a singing bowl session or any healing modality really is that everybody has a different experience, and a different experience each and every time that they have a session. And that's the beauty of it, is that it's never the same. And what I'm going to be working on with at the workshop that we're doing is, and I'm really glad that I'm like on the first night, because it's all about finding and creating your divine path. And so with working with the bowls, first what we can do is open everybody up. We'll be opening up their chakra system, opening up their minds, their hearts, their souls, to be able to receive that guidance, to be open to hearing and integrating and really experiencing what you and Todd are going to be teaching and what they're going to be going through for that whole 3 days. And so I think it's perfect that the bowls are going to be on that first night, really to open everybody up to that healing.
And I think that's so true. And that opening's so important. And people sometimes they think, well, why should I be going to this live conference or this live workshop? And can't I just get as much over the air in a teleseminar? And one of the things that we forget is that you really need to be present. It's like if you were to come on the air and play your crystal bowls right now, there would be some effect, but it would not resonate and really vibrate the chakras the same way it does when you're right there in the room or you're right there with those crystal bowls working over somebody. And we forget how much is stored up in those cells. We go through life and we're thinking, I'm dealing with this and I'm coping with that and I'm okay, and okay, there's a little bit of this or a little bit of that I might be concerned about, or a little bit of a money issue, or whatever the case is, or my relationship is on the blink, or whatever the case is. But then, a lot of these things sit there very subtly in our cells without us ever knowing it. And then when you get this experience of having those crystal bowls over you, and you get that experience of that vibration, your cells just really start going and releasing. And I notice sometimes when I've had these types of experiences that I will tend to get very lightheaded after an experience like that. So I could certainly understand wanting to just go home and wrap up in a blanket and just add that energy in there for a while.
Yes. And well, I agree with, I could play it right now. In fact, I have one out that if you want, I actually picked the heart chakra bowl that I happen to have out. And but I agree, I could play it for, a couple minutes here, but to sit and have a whole hour-long session is you can't even describe what you'll come, how you will feel at the end of that. So, yes, being there, being present, and allowing yourself to have that time to nurture yourself. And that's one thing that we don't do enough of, going to these workshops and giving ourselves permission to do this to allow ourselves to nurture, and people think, oh, I just don't have the money for it, or I don't have the time for that. But really, when you come away from a workshop like that, you are literally walking on clouds. You're at your peak of who you are, and when we're at that level and we're vibrating at that level, we attract so much good into our life that the payback from attending one of these conferences or workshops or retreat weekends, the payback is unlimited. Especially in the first couple of weeks, that you can literally attract so much good into your life that it will more than pay for your worries, anything that you were worried about previous to going. Don't you agree, Jesse?
Yeah, I do, and I noticed that many times when I had come back from a workshop, and I would come back, and it seemed like I would make more money than I had made before. And I'd come back, and it would just be like everything was in the flow. It's like nothing could go wrong in my life. I would be laughing and giggling, and a lot of that comes from energy being released along the way. And I would just notice people would comment all the time. They're like, oh, my gosh, you're just like so bubbly and happy and joyful, and they'd be going, how did you manage to get that extra little bonus come in? And it did. I always made back more, it seemed like, on many levels than what I paid to go. So definitely it resonates. I know that I had somebody in the queue here with a question, and I was going to get to her in just a minute. I see her. She's still in the chat there with us. But one thing I wanted you to touch on, too, before I have you, and I would love to have you play. I think that would be amazing, and I think a lot of our listeners would really enjoy having that experience. But maybe you can explain to us maybe some of the differences of why a crystal singing bowl as opposed to like a metal one, because there's different types out there, right? So.
Yes.
So why crystal?
Well, I think they're both intense healing, and I think it's a matter of my personal liking that I've chosen the crystal bowl, the Tibetan bowl, the Tibetan metal singing bowl. Again, just, it's the same type of healing, but I think it's a personal preference or a guided preference, and whatever works, whatever you're guided, any one person is guided to do, I encourage them to do that. The Tibetan bowls are made out of the 7 different metals in the one bowl. That encompass the chakra system, and I honestly I've played a Tibetan bowl before, and have really enjoyed the experience. I guess it's just what I was guided towards the crystal bowls, and I think that's part of my guided journey is working with crystals. Of course, that's another thing that I do is laying on of crystals on the body. So I think it's just what I've been guided to do, and others are guided towards the metal bowl.
And I think that's a good point. I mean, I've noticed a couple of things because I have worked with some of the Tibetan metal bowls, and I feel that a lot of times for me it was, I know when I was trying to pick out a bowl, it was a matter, well, which one really sang for me when I tried it out?
Yeah.
And a lot of times that was what made my decision for me one way or another. I know you've got a beautiful set, and I have seen the sets that you work with, and when you have that whole set that works with the chakras, I have to say it's an incredible experience to have, and it's an incredible feeling, just the way it goes through. And you talk about lifting your vibrations up from playing the bowl, and this is one of the things that we talk about with compassion. And when we move into compassion, we are raising our vibration to that state of love or above. Actually, with compassion, we're bringing it right up on that edge of enlightenment. I feel like the crystal bowls add to, when we're doing that compassionate work, it's such an asset to just, as you mentioned, opened everything up, which is why we really wanted you on that first night, so that people would get open and they would be receptive, which then would allow them to receive so much more of the learning process and the experience and be able to take in a lot more. But it's a very, very powerful experience from what I've noticed.
Yes, yeah. I'm very excited about the whole workshop and meeting you and meeting Todd. I'm very excited about it. Can't wait for the experience. And
so I guess what we will do is, if you would like to, I'm going to turn it over to you if you want to move into that crystal bowl playing and let us know what we need to do on our end, if we need to think about something, or I'm going to let you lead.
Okay, great. So if everyone just wants to, first of all, relax and get in a very comfortable position, whether that be laying on the floor or sitting, whatever works for you right now. It's late. It's late where I am anyway. And so just get comfortable. Allow your mind to start to relax and your body to start to relax. Close your eyes. Taking a deep breath. And let's just listen to the sound of the crystal bowls. Again, this is the heart chakra. And just bring your attention to the center of your chest, into that heart chakra area. Feel your heart
Wow. For those of you that are just tuning in with us, we are here with Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour. Our guest at the moment is Jen Prothero. She's been working with us with a crystal singing bowl meditation that was designed for the heart. Jen, I did notice a little bit in there that we were getting some pitchiness on the line, a little bit difficult to hear you. But I think the feeling was definitely there for our guest, and certainly for anybody that's in the chat room or on the air, I'd love to hear some of your experiences. I know the clarity is a lot greater in person, but I noticed for myself when you first started playing, I could really feel it come from the center and just spread out right over my heart chakra area, and it just kept spreading out towards my shoulders, and I could just feel this big round opening right there in that spot, and that was really, interesting for me to go through.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was feeling. It was just kept growing and growing and growing. And so that's obviously what we needed for tonight, was to feel that love and compassion flowing outwardly.
Definitely, and I think that's something that we just can't have enough of as we have that heart chakra open and that center chakra open. It's very interesting. They say that the heart is really one of the greatest minds and retainers of information. And yet at the same time, they say the heart chakra and the heart area is very, very present. So it doesn't really hold a ton of memories. Even though it holds all this information, it doesn't necessarily always hold memories. And so what it knows is what's right here in this very moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Does anybody have an experience going on for them right now? Maybe we kind of zoned out.
Yeah.
Some of our listeners and our guests out there. But if you've got an experience, we'd love to hear it. If you're feeling anything, if anybody else could feel that opening and they'd like to share it with us, we'd love to hear it out there. Okay. Well, we've got some people just kind of, I think, sitting with that vibration right now. And if you do, just go ahead and buzz in. I've got my eyes on the chat for you, and I'm also watching on our phone lines for anybody that puts the question up there for me, so that I know that you've got a question you'd like to come into. In the meantime, Jen, we've got a little bit of time here. And I would love for you to share some of the things that you have going on. How do our guests contact you? We've got some time, a little bit of time here to work with, but if you go ahead and start with us on that, then that would be great.
Sure. Okay, yeah, I'm working, of course, with the Compassion Tour with you and Todd in October, the 2nd to the 4th. I'm also doing a local workshop in Windsor on November, the first week in November. November the 10th, doing a one-day workshop there, again with the Crystal Bowl. That's coming up. And so I'm really, really liking the teaching and the working with groups with the Crystal Bowl. And again, always willing to come out and travel and bring that out to new groups. And you can get a hold of me either on Facebook, Jen Prothero. Just look me up there. I'm from Chatham, Ontario. And I like to put out a daily positive message on Facebook, give you something to think about throughout the day. And you can also get a hold of me through my website, which is jenprothero.webs.com, and I'm going to spell that out for you. It's JENNPROTHERO.webs.com. And you can, look up all the services that I offer and the products that I have coming up. Again, the children's book that Jesse mentioned earlier is available on my website there. I also have a guided meditation CD that's available on the website. And all my services, of course, are listed there, the angel readings, the meditation, or the distance healing. And again, the crystal bowls are just as, you experience them here. So to do a distance session over the phone through the computer, it does work. There is quite an experience that you will receive from that. So, don't be worried that distance healing isn't going to work, because they do work just as wonderfully as being in person. Again, so they're all listed on my website, and that's all really I've got about going on right now, Jess.
I would like to ask you a little bit, because I saw this on your website, that you had an oracle card deck that was coming out. Is that out now?
It's not out. It's been put on the back burner. I was really guided to get that out last year, and then it ran into some problems, and it's there. It's pretty much ready to go, but for some reason I'm just not guided to pick it up and finish it. And other projects keep popping up for some reason. So I know that it will be, I'm hoping, early next year that I can get that out. But for some reason, it's been put on the back burner, and we always know that everything happens for a reason. And so I've just kind of let it sit there until I can get guided to do it again.
Okay, great. And I think that is a really good lesson, or a good point for us to keep in mind, that sometimes we start on something, and then sometimes it's just not the right time to bring it out. So learning to respect that and to wait and let it have its time to really come out. And sometimes we think we're supposed to be doing one thing, and the universe comes up and says, well, I want to do something else.
Yes.
The universe says, really, Jen, I'd like you to come do these workshops, or I'd like you to focus on the crystal bowls, or some of these other things. So I think that's a good point for our listeners to remember, that, don't worry if sometimes you set something aside. Sometimes it's just not the right timing, and we need to come back to it. So I think that's a really great thing. I have a listener with a question here, so I'm going to bring them on and see what they have, and see. Okay. And forgive me if I don't pronounce this right. I've got BNNA Bodai. Are you there, Bodai? Bodai? Hello? Hello, Bodai? Hello? I'm having a little bit of trouble here coming in on you. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Hi. How are you doing?
Good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're a little bit distant, but I can hear you.
Yes, I can be more. Hi.
That's so much better.
Okay, perfect.
What is your question? Do you have a question for Jen, or?
Yes, I do have a question. I feel very insecure. I have a situation where I don't know what to do. My paperwork in the U.S. is expired, kind of, or it's like almost expiring, and I don't know if I'm going to be staying here or if I'm going to be moving to Holland. I just feel so awkward because I have a lot of plans of what I want to do, where I want to go, but it just feels really, I feel like I'm being held back because of where I live. I love being here, but it feels like I'm being held back because of the paperwork.
Okay. Jen, how would you respond to somebody that's feeling like they're being held back?
Yeah.
What I'm sensing and picking up is that where you're at right now is not home, and something is calling you home. That's what I'm feeling for you, is that you're being called home to family, home to be surrounded. And home is not, I'm not necessarily saying Holland. I'm saying home to be surrounded by the support and love of the family, of the unit. It's almost like your soul is missing that.
Well, I feel like my family is not really home either.
And that's fine. It could be your spirit team and your soul team that you're. I'm just sensing that where you are right now is not home to you. And that's why you're feeling held back. That's why you're feeling the struggle. Because where you're at is not home to you.
Do you see me moving out soon here? Because that's kind of... But I don't know where I'm going, but I would like to find my home, yes. Kind of like a place where I can expand and grow, move forward.
That's exactly what your soul is wanting right now. Is just it's to me, when I tune into where you're at right now, I feel tightness in your chest. I just feel tightness everywhere. But when you talk about moving, it's like your chest relaxes, everything opens up for you. So it is about, going to a place, and I do see that happening soon for you. And it's about following your heart.
Yes.
What direction you want to go in.
Yes, I think so too. It's not my mind at all. The mind is like keeps you insane, kind of. But what keeps me sane is my heart, because that's unlimited. The mind is very limited. It only thinks that if I were in Europe, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I could possibly do here, But it looks like it's a hopeless case here for me to even go for it. It seems like such a struggle, and for what? For whom? But I've been talking to this school, which I would like to see if I can at least get my licensure at and work in a school. But what do you see regarding this school that I've gotten in it through connections, and what is your take on that? Like, what is your...
Is that school in the same area that you're living in right now?
Yeah.
Because energetically, the area that you're in is just not good for you. Certain cities, like every city and every place has an energy. It has a different energy to it. And where you are right now, where are you living right now?
In New York.
In New York. Because it could be a different part of New York might be a better part for you. But where you're at right now energetically, that part of New York is just not working for you.
Okay.
So perhaps trying.
Well,
And the best way to find out energetically is just to travel around and sense how you feel in that area.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Jen. I feel like that is part of it, and you can tell because you'll actually get like a lightening. Your body will feel lighter when you're in a place that is healthy for you and vibrates for you. And another thing that you can do also is to think about, if you were to daydream and to daydream about a certain environment or place, that's also a good way to start to find the type of environment that will work for you. We do have a couple of other callers on with questions, and I want to make sure we get to them. But Bodhi, I thank you, and we're going to put you back on hold and get to a couple of our other callers, okay?
Good luck with your call. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm bringing on 619 area code. Are you there? Hello? Hi. Did you have a question for Jen tonight?
Yes, about the singing bowls. If I were to purchase a CD, what could I expect them to do for me?
Well, what they'll do is, number one, they'll clear out your chakra system, okay?
Okay.
And each time you listen to the crystal bowls, you can set a different intention for each time. So it could be clarity in a certain area in your life.
Okay.
So asking a specific question before going into the meditation, you're going to get that type of experience. You may not get the clarity answer that you want directly in that session, but know that it will come within the next day or so.
Okay.
You're going to experience, some people experience their spirit guide coming to visit them.
Oh, interesting.
Some people experience their totem animals coming through. Some people experience the letting go, like the deep letting go and release of emotions or memories or situations that they've had in the past that they've been holding on to for a long time.
Okay.
Like I say, every experience is different for every person, and everybody's going to experience what they're ready to experience.
Right.
And so every time you do it, it's going to be different.
Great. And are there certain bowls or CDs for certain conditions, or are they just universal? All depending on what you set your intention for.
Well, each bowl is set for a different chakra. So if you were having like family issues and issues around how you fit into the world and everything related to the root chakra, then, I would definitely get one that has the root chakra, or if you're having, issues with compassion and love and pain from the past, definitely the heart chakra. So, it all depends, but usually a combination is a good one. A CD that has a combination of them on it.
Is there any danger to listening to it too much or too often?
I do not think so at all, no.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for answering my questions. I'd like to stay on and listen to the rest of the show.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to bring on one more, Jen, for you real quick. And if we can kind of make this quick, I'm going to be bringing on 954 area code. And listener, you're on the air. Did you have a question for Jen?
Yes. Hi, my name is Darlene from Florida. I'd like you to see, can you read the chakras and see how my energy is?
Jen, is that something that you can do, or?
I can do a quick energy read for you, but, in a few minutes, because we want to get on with the show.
Yeah, we've got about 2 minutes, 1 minute.
It's just really not something I can do in that period of time. I can see that there's some heaviness in your root chakra. I do feel that. Straight
I was
off the
picking
bat.
that up.
Okay, so I should work on my root chakra?
Yes, for sure.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I don't know about how Jen works, but I think a lot of times when we're very heavy in the root chakra, what we want to do is we want to think about doing some meditation, doing some picking up a book and developing and reading, because we want to balance that out to the upper chakras. Just like when we are in a space where we're very heady and we're very flighty and things like that, we want to ground out. So there's, a different area. So I think maybe focusing on 5 or 10 minutes of meditation a day could help lift you out of the heaviness of that root chakra.
Okay.
Yes, I agree, Jess. Yeah.
Okay,
right.
Perfect. Thank you so much for calling in. And I just want to let everybody know we really appreciate, Jen, thank you so much for being with us. It's such a gift, the work that you're doing, and you can experience this work with Jen live on the Compassion Tour. If you're interested in finding out more about the venue for the Compassion Tour, you can go to www.compassiontourbelleville, that's BELLEVILLE.eventbrite.com. It's got all the information on there. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be bringing on Todd Stockwell. And in the meantime, we're just going to take this short break with some music by Shemshai, whose work is roots reggae and world fusion. And I actually first met Shemshai when I was studying some Tantra work in Sedona, Arizona. And they've been evolving ever since, and now they're performing worldwide, tour after tour after tour. And this song here that we're going to bring on is called Angel of the Dawn. We'll be back in just about 5 minutes.
She walks on light, angel of the dawn, she rises toward the one. Give me sight when all I'd ever wanted was to see beyond the veils of my own illusion. And I would give you everything. I would lay it all down just to hear your crystal voice calling me home. Oh, just to hear your crystal voice calling me home. Becoming clearer as we rise toward the one. In love with this love divine, you show me everything and everything I never wanted to find. If I could take you anywhere, I would bring you down here. Touch that place so deep inside, letting go of all fear. For you have touched me so deep inside, where it all becomes clear. La, la, la. golden sun, in all of the splendor and glory, moving toward the one.
All right, we are back, and for those of you that are just tuning in, you are listening to Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour. I'm your host, Jesse Ann Nichols George, and you were just listening to Angel of the Dawn by Shimshai. And we are now ready to bring on Todd Stockwell. We just finished talking with Jen Prothero. And Todd, these are some questions that come to mind when I'm thinking of introducing Todd and the work he does. Have you ever wanted to find out what works for you? And have you ever wanted to live a joyful and empowered life? This is really where Todd's work is being focused on. Todd is an expert on the new paradigm, finding your divine path and true genius. He has worked with athletes, actors, musicians, and professionals to reach their own personal best. Todd has been an expert on Clear Channel Radio, BBS Radio, Intuitive Soul, and Wisdom Radio. Todd has an MS in Leadership and Training from Alameda University and a BA in Sociology from the University of Michigan. Todd has over 20 years of management and consulting experience and 5 years of experience working with people with developmental disabilities. Todd is an artist, award-winning author, songwriter, inventor, leader, and father. And to find out more about Todd and the work that he is doing, you can visit his website at www.beyond1111.com. And I'm going to go ahead and bring Todd on the air here. Hi, Todd, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Hello, Jesse.
Hello, and welcome to Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour.
Well, thank you.
We really appreciate you being here. Todd, I want to start off, and I want to make sure I'm leaving a little bit of time tonight so that if any of our callers or our listeners out there, people in our chat rooms, if they've got questions for you, that they'll be able to get those questions answered. But why don't we start off with having you share with us a little bit about your story, what brought you to doing the things that you're doing today, because like both Jen and I, you've got this diverse background there.
Yeah, well, I guess what I would say is, some people say, what did you do to get here or something like that, and I would just say that it came to me. I was always aware of things that were not necessarily what everyone else is aware of, I guess, and every step that I took, just showed me whether it's working with companies where that I could intuitively, spot where the problems were quickly and figure out how to correct them, or working with individuals with developmental disabilities, just sense and know that even though somebody's nonverbal doesn't mean they're not able to communicate, things like that. And, it just became more and more a part of that this is what I'm here for. I know my purpose. I know it well. I'm here to light the light workers. Help the leaders of this new paradigm. Get lit up and be in their specific genius, because we're at the time of indigo, and it's transitioning quickly to even a higher consciousness. And the time of indigo is where that each one of us finds our true genius. We find our path, and then it aligns everything else to create this new paradigm. So we're in the midst of it. It's the most exciting time ever to be here, and glad I signed up for this time.
I agree. We are in some amazingly exciting times, and It's interesting that you bring out how you're supporting the light workers and the indigo children, and this is a really big movement. Jen and I were talking about that earlier, of how this is the time when people that are doing this work are coming out, and this is the time that people are feeling those stirrings and those awakenings in them, and they're wondering, how do I bring this gift out? I'm starting to be aware I'm a little bit different, or I have some things going on that the rest of the world maybe isn't doing. And what do I do with this energy, and what do I do with these gifts? And it's always a big question. I think when people are starting on their path, I like you, a lot of my gifts just kind of came to me. They were there for a lot of my life, but I still had to study and work for them and learn them and understand them along the way. And I think it unfolds for us along the way as we step on the path, and sometimes we just don't always know what we're stepping into. We might have a concept of that big giant picture out there, but until you step on the path and start walking it, you don't exactly know where you're going to end up.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys were talking earlier. I did listen. I was listening to you guys. It was off and on a little bit on the computer, but I did listen. And you were talking about the heart. The key is at the heart. We have the core at our heart where all the answers are. The whole universe is there at our heart. That's the biggest Christ teaching, was that it's all right there in your heart, and so it's important that we get aligned with our heart, and then the answers are there and now in this moment. We don't have to think about all of these things and try to figure things out. All the answers are there. They're aligned. There's so much more information we can get when we're heart connected. It downloads, that's the term that I'll use, because it's so much information that you couldn't even learn it in a lifetime here. It's way more information than you could possibly, get from every book on the planet. So let's open ourselves up to that. A lot of what the work that I do is all about getting the brain out of the way, getting you connected, so that you're empowered, so that you're able to truly get to your highest potential. And I know you guys were talking about how each individual is different. It's so true in each one of us, because we think linear. Okay, our brain tends to pull us into linear thought. We're not linear, we're multidimensional. So therefore, we're all creating a completely different reality. Each one of us is creating a whole different paradigm in and of ourselves. So therefore, that's why it's so important to do the compassion work that you're talking about, with that, and helping people to have compassion for others, because they're not going to see what we see. They're not going to feel what we feel. It's a different reality that they're creating. So therefore, it's fine that your beliefs, or my big thing is beliefs can be the biggest challenge that there is, because they're outward beliefs that we've been taught. When we're taught anything that's outside of ourselves, takes us away from connection and programs us, and that's what I work very hard at helping people to break away from those chains and those kind of programs.
And I think that's a big thing when we look at that compassion, and you bring up a good point. We all are in these different realities, and it's not that one reality is right and another one is wrong. And it's not that we can't access that total information so much as we're not going to be able to sit down and read all of that information. It's when we get connected to the heart and we get connected to spirit that we have access to it. So it's not that we can necessarily download it all and put it all in our little brain as much as it is kind of plugging into that bigger source of information there.
And that's the key, is that when we're in the now and we're connected to our core, which is the entire universe, then we have all the information that we need in that moment, and then, that's all we really need, because we're creating right now. If we lean off into the future, where that gets us, we fall off into worry zone, then the brain's in the way. And same as in the past, you're looking back at what you did wrong or things like that, and too many people are focused on, what do I have to fix, The first thing that we need to realize is that we don't have to fix anything. We're perfected beings, God, we were created perfectly, exactly the way that we were meant to be created in this moment. So therefore, it's not about fixing things. All these things correct by, or clear by just focusing on, okay, this thing shows up in the moment. Now I can focus on it. It's ready to go. Let's just let it go.
And that is a big piece of where compassion ties in with the work I'm doing, because it's less about, okay, it's got to be my way or this way or a specific way, and it's more about letting go, because when we get to that letting go space, we have a couple of things that happen. First of all, we're much more receptive to gaining understanding and being able to learn and broaden what we have in our reality. But it's the way of communicating, because a lot of times it's not so much about this person did this to me, or that person took a certain action and I don't like it, as much as it is, what am I going to do about it? And am I identifying a pain or programming or something that needs to be released? And when we let go, then we can actually release those programmings and get into that space of, how can I support you? How can I help you? Because I want to see you evolve. I want to see you grow.
Right, exactly, and that's the key, is that the highest form of or our highest experience that's available for each one of us is to be of service. So to be of service at the highest point is feeling everything, and people get in this fear zone about feeling things because they have a perception that it's painful, and pain isn't real when we're truly connected. It's not real, So if a lot of people will be like, I'm in a lot of pain, so don't say that, But the truth is that pain is something that we've been programmed into. That each step of our life that we've been taught that this thing hurts, this hurts, and then the universe keeps showing us more and more of that, so it gets more and more painful. And if so many of us have come here as consciousness workers, where that we're elevating, a lot of people, and helping a lot of people to raise their vibrations. Well, we tend to get weighed down more because we're holding that kind of a thing, and our energy's going outward instead of inward and connecting. So that's a big thing, for light workers, for consciousness workers. That's usually the term that I use. But the big thing is that, compassion is key to all of it, of course, because that's here in the heart, and the truth is there in the heart. If we can see things in the moment, then we're able to, the brain can do brilliant things, it's so much more advanced than any of these computers out there, but it has to take second to the heart, and then it can be aligned, and all that information can pop up as we need it in that moment. We have the answers, all the truths that we need, all the focus. You guys were also talking about when you have this spark of a thought of what you need to do, and then, oh wait, it needs to sit for a little while and simmer. That's all part of a download, a connection, a process, because there's so much to it. It's going to show itself a few times, and then it's going to happen peacefully. You know, you don't have to force things. They happen as long as we're connected and we're walking in spirit neutral.
And this is so true. And I think there's two really good points in there that you bring up. And one of them is the aspect of, if we're not in our heart, we're really not connected. If we're feeling the anger and the frustration and the worries and the anxieties, which is all head and ego stuff, it's really all about ego at that point. We don't think about it because we're thinking, but I've given and I've given and I've given, and, you know, how can I be an ego when I'm doing all this giving? But if you have those things going on, you're not in the heart, and when you're not in the heart and you're not in that compassion space, then you're actually disconnected from spirit. And it's a hard thing for a lot of people to accept that disconnect is there. And that's when we really need to learn to get a little conscious and go, okay, I've got these things going on, so that means I'm disconnected, and what am I going to do to get connected? You know, whether that's stopping and taking that pause of breathing time, or getting that conscious positive thought going, or just tuning into our heart and saying what's going on. And then the other thing that you brought up was that aspect of service, and definitely being of service is such a great thing, but I feel that there's a lot of people out there, and you mentioned it, where the energy is pouring out and out and out, and they're not taking energy in, so they get very drained. This is something that happens with a lot of people, particularly that are doing things like Reiki and energy work and massage work and things like that, and they feel very drained after a session instead of just feeling very balanced. And
yeah, exactly, because what happens there, you know, is that if you're focusing, it's basically we're sitting in a program where that we've been programmed that this is what service looks like, is that we're giving, and then basically you're beating yourself up. You're completely creating yourself as a victim. You have to take care of you first, and you can't elevate the consciousness when you're working as a consciousness worker. When I say about elevating, you know, millions of people and thousands of people, you have to take care of you. If you don't take care of you and clear you and make sure you're taken care of and loved and all this kind of stuff, then you're just getting buried, and you'll do the exact opposite of what you're trying to do. So. And
this is so true, and this is one of the points that I bring up in my book. Matter of fact, I've got a whole chapter devoted to being compassionate with oneself. And we have to do that, because if you're not being compassionate with yourself, if you're not giving to yourself, then you don't have anything to give.
Yeah.
It's a natural thing of and some people feel like, well, I feel guilty if I take time for myself, or I feel guilty if I'm doing these things for myself. But in reality, that is really how you get to that giving space. It's a cycle. It's a cycle of, when you give to yourself, you have more to give to others, and when you're giving more to others, you'll have more to give to yourself. So it's a cycle that kind of perpetuates itself.
Exactly, and it creates a victim, you know, stasis, you know, and you know, as far as I'm concerned, we need to kill the victim. You know, it sounds harsh, but it's true. We just need to kill the victim. That whole victim reality has used itself up. We can just let it go. And what I mean by that is like you're saying, you victimize yourself any time that you start judging that, oh, I'm not giving enough. Oh, I've got to, I have to do this. All those kind of things are all ways of victimizing yourself. Oh, I've got to give till I collapse. All that kind of thing. It's just the opposite. It's the opposite of the truth. And a lot of these things that we've been trained, because they're outward training, are the opposite of the truth. So selfish in the eyes of the world is not selfish.
Right, exactly. I think that's so very true there, and it does tend to be a hard thing to accept, and the aspect of giving is actually something that we started this show off with tonight when we were looking at a passage or thought from the 72 Names of God by Yehuda Berg, and who's very studied and mastered in Kabbalah. And it was one of the points that was brought up, that really you want to be giving when you're able to give from the heart, and not because you feel coerced or forced or pressured to give, or because somebody says you've got an obligation to give and that's the only way you're going to make it. So those are not the conditions to give under. What we want to do is to be giving because our heart is saying, I want to do something. I want to share. And the giving is about sharing more than it is giving.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, Todd?
It's exactly. It's about connection. You could look at the key is that we're all here to connect on one level or another, and to elevate. And as we do, we have our experience. We felt that experience the whole way. Each different step that we take another experience out of helps us to release and helps us to elevate and to connect more. And as we connect more, then we're able to help others. And it doesn't mean that we have to be reaching out and volunteering here and volunteering there and all that kind of thing, of course, that's always a good thing, too, if that's what our heart brings us to, But like you say, if it's not, if you're doing it because somebody thinks you should do it besides your own heart, then you're just going to get an anger bill, and anger is an anchor, that's why it sounds like anger. Anchor. Will anchor you into the sludge, and you'll be stuck in the sludge, and we know you can't do much when your eyes are covered in mud, So I say, let's elevate, let's get into that spirit neutral zone, where everything's possible, and we can create miracles simply, and have a beautiful, reality.
I so agree. And I've got a couple of callers on the line, and I'm going to give them a chance to come in and ask you questions. But I did want to bring up one thing, because we are going to be working in this group dynamic here coming up on October 2nd to 4th. And one of the things that we mentioned is that if we're all different, and we all come from these different realities, and we all have different needs and different things that will resonate for us. But if we're all different, how can we get what we need by being in a group situation?
Okay.
How do we get what we need by sitting there in this group of people if we're all different?
Because this is a very simple, believe it or not, question. Because as we're a core, each one of us is a core. As we get into a bigger group, that group is also a core. This planet is a bigger core. The universe is a bigger core where we're all connected. We're all connected in one way or another. And so therefore, as long as we're able to connect to our own hearts, to our core, then we're able to elevate each one of us. And that's what my work's all about. And I know that that's what your focus is as well.
Absolutely. It's about, how many people can we get out there on their path, doing their work, helping them make that transition from feeling lost and wondering what to do to finding the successes that we're wanting. And you deal in so many incredible areas. I mean, just to give our listeners an idea, I mean, you've got genius training and core empowerment and working with white buffaloes and spiritual business success, chant Om Wow, universal vortex training, fountain of youth, 12 levels of NSOF. You've just got tons and tons of stuff. And this is what we were mentioning. I mean, between you and Jen and me, I mean, we've got, I don't know, probably easily 60 years experience if we combine it all together. But I do have a couple of listeners on the line, and Todd, let me bring those on. I've got a 619 area code, and let them go ahead and ask you any questions they've got, okay?
Okay.
619, you're live on the air. Hello? Let's try that again. 619, You're live on the air. Can you hear us?
Yes, you had me on mute.
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
And
I
did
was
you have
wondering,
a question?
Yes, I would like some advice. There's a message I've been wanting to hear, but I've been told that I'm trying too hard to hear it. So what can I do, find a way to hear it?
Okay. You need to focus on your heart. Focus on a flame at the base of your heart chakra, okay? So it's more toward the diaphragm. And expand that to open. You want to focus only on that. Clear the mind. Get the mind out of the way. There's different things that you could do. You could tone if you wanted to. I would just say the more that you focus on expanding your core, though, that's the most important thing, because then you're aligning and you're showing the system, that your physical system, that the heart is where the truth is, and then there's no try. Then you can Yoda will be happy with you as a student.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And by the way, one more thing. What's the name of this show? Because I want to download it.
I'm sorry?
What's the name of the show? Because I'm not at the computer. I want to download it later on.
Mm-hmm. And we will send that out through the Facebook page, but you can actually just come right back into the same link that you used to get into this one, and it should allow you to download from there.
But I'm not at the computer. I'm just on the phone.
So it's Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour, and you'll find it. It's the one for this date, and so if you just go into Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and it's through Main Street Universe.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to move on here. We've got somebody from 954 area code, and I'm bringing you on the air. Okay, 954, you're live on the air.
Oh, no, I'm
Hello?
Yes, you took my call before. I'm still just listening.
Still just listening?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm going to put you back on hold.
Okay, thanks.
And we're going to go to area code 703. 703, you're live on the air.
Hello, Jesse. It's Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
Daniel Michael.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I just got back from work a little while back and was tuning into the show, and it's great to see our show expand. And I'll get off the line soon if there's other callers, so that you can get back to the advice and stuff. But I just want to say I'm so happy to see that I started this show and then the network, and then to see you blossom this into, plant the seed, and to see you be part of its growing in one of its branches is just amazing. And it was sort of very warming to first tune in and hear it and saying, oh, here it is, and she's doing this now with us, and as some of the other folks are. So welcome to the Main Street Universe Network, and I'm going to go ahead and hang up and let you continue with your show.
Okay, thank you, Daniel.
All right, thank you.
That was Daniel. He's the producer for Main Street Universe, so it's great to have him here listening in and paying attention to my maiden voyage here of activating compassion in the midnight hour. And Todd, that kind of looks like what we have in the way of callers right now tonight, but I do want to give you a chance to share your information. How do people contact you? How do they get hold of you if they want to?
Yes, well, they can call me at 734-740-9110. So it's dial 911. There's also, you can email me at todd@beyond1111.com, so it's beyond1111.com. And, of course, check out the website. It's all there, with the beyond1111.com. And so that would be it. I'm available around the clock, so if I don't pick up, leave me a message. I am one who listens to my messages. I hear that's not common anymore, but I do. I listen to the message, so I will get back to you quickly. So
that's fantastic, and I just kind of want to do some recapping here tonight. Todd, I really want to thank you for being with us. I mean, you're doing amazing work with people, and anybody who wants to, Todd and Jen, who you heard earlier on the show, and myself, we are doing a collaborative venture. It is just outside of the Detroit, Michigan area in Belleville. It is one of my stops on the Compassion Tour. And if you're interested in finding out more about that venue, you can read about it at www.compassiontourbelleville.eventbrite.com. It's going to be such a transformational time. I mean, man, if you want to open up, you want to step on your path, you want to find the success, the prosperity, you're working through changes and transitions and transformations in your life, this is the place to be. The intensity of the experience of being live and sharing and interacting with other people and gaining these experiences is not something you're going to get over the air on a show. So I really encourage you to come and grab hold of this. It's a 3-night event, October 2nd through 4th. It runs from 6 to 9 p.m. each night. There's a limited number of spaces, so you want to make certain that you get your spot reserved as soon as possible. Anyone that signs up for this event, I've got some bonuses I'm offering. So anybody that signs up, attends the event, you're going to get a copy of each of my books, absolutely free. I'm also offering up 2 weeks of free email coaching. That's a value of $2,250. Most workshops, if you were going and you had a collaborative team like this, I mean, you could easily be paying $800, $1,500 and up. The cost of this event's only $222. So, I mean, it's an incredible price for everything that you're getting. But we really wanted to make it in a range that was affordable to people, where people could get the chance to experience this work at a reasonable price, so that you can get what you can need to make the changes and that you can start living the life that you want to make, okay? So I can't stress enough how important it is to be there live in the workshop for that. And it just takes it to a whole different level. I mean, when you think about the difference of getting something, sitting in a teleseminar on the radio where you can multitask and do 5 different things compared to being live in a workshop, it's kind of like the difference of getting 2 hours of sleep a night for a week compared to getting 8 hours of sleep a night for a week. So it's a big thing there. And if you'd like to find out more about me and the work I'm doing with Compassion, you can reach me through Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. I've got a blog where you can check out my work at getyourblissOn.tumblr.com. You can also check out my website, which is at bliss.freetzi, that's FREETZI.com. You can also email me. My email is lifeofbliss@q.com. My book is available in paperback on Amazon.com and BarnesandNobles.com. It's also available as an ebook through Smashwords. And I also just want to encourage, I'm putting this out right now for the listeners, and whether you're in the archives or you're listening live, I'm offering a special price range for any of my coaching services. So if you go onto my website, bliss.freetzi.com, you go into services, you'll see 2 different coaching options in there. And option 1, which is unlimited email coaching, has like 1 month, 3 month, 6 month options. I will do 90% off for any of our listeners. So when you're looking at that, you're getting a month of a month of unlimited email coaching for basically the price of 1 hour of work with me. And if you want to go to the more in-depth work, which involves quantum energy work, I'm going to be doing that. I have to warn you, I only have a couple of spots. It's first come, first served, and that's 75% off right now for option 2, and that is for the listeners of this show. So it's all based on how many spaces I have available. If you want to find out about other stops on the Compassion Tour, we've got some amazing things coming up. I mentioned some fundraisers at one point, and those fundraisers, I've got one coming up in Chichester, New Hampshire, and that is at Live and Let Live Farm Rescue. When I'm doing a fundraiser, 90% of what is being brought in on that venue is going to that organization. And actually, next week on Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour, we are going to have Teresa Paradis, and she is the owner and operator there at the Live and Let Live Farm Rescue. Just amazing work. So I really hope you'll tune in for that, because she's an amazing person with these incredible experiences. They do rescues of all different animals in that organization there. It is 100% volunteer run. They work with different groups to bring them out and help educate them on what's happening. They do everything from rescuing horses to dogs, cats, birds, ducks, whatever out there. Other stops that you're going to find on the tour are going to include North Attleboro, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston, Babylon, New York, Glen Echo, Maryland, Evansville, Indiana, Tucson and Phoenix areas, and there may be a couple of other venues going in. I'm just waiting for some confirmation on them. And time is running out, though, on these events to sign up for them, and there is a limited number of spaces. So you can find out about the other events by going to Jesse Ann Nichols George .eventbrite.com, and that'll show you all the venues. You can look them all over and see what's happening there. Don't forget that we've got several shows here on Main Street Universe throughout the week. Wednesdays at 9 a.m., or actually noon Eastern Standard Time, is you've got Daniel, Janice, and Brett, and they are on looking at the tarot. Thursdays at around noon is our Zariana show, and Friday evenings, of course, Kevin Baird walking on the sidewalk, bringing to you his Horizon Oracle Journeys. Again, this is Jesse Ann Nichols George. I want to thank you so much for being here tonight. I look forward to seeing you back here next week as we delve more into activating compassion. Don't forget that if you've enjoyed the show this evening, share it with others. It'll be available in our archives. I am going to leave you tonight with the song. It's called Deliverance, and it, again, is by Shimshai. And thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you again next week right here on Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour. May you enjoy the rest of your weekend and have an absolutely amazing week.
And if I could see what makes me blind, I would soar to the edge of my mind and to touch what seems unreal, just to show you the way that I feel. And we are in time with time, one with the season of change inside. And we are in tune with the tune, caught in a balance of sun and moon. Oh, deep inside, the light within, shining to show you it's here to begin. When all I have is all I need, I will soar to the edge of eternity. And we see in eye to eye, one within love to be for the divine. And we're walking hand in hand, caught in the balance of God and man. Over and over, life is your lover, learning to walk just a little bit slower, whispering secrets, I bet you can't keep it. No turning back now, this time we reveal it. One to another, all will discover the essence within the most beautiful lover. Time is still turning, the love is still burning. Deep in your spirit, your heart still yearning for. Yearning for. Within love to be for the divine. And we're walking hand in hand, caught in the balance of God and man. And we are in time with time, one with the season of change inside. And we are in tune with the tune of life in the circle and love in bloom. Over, life is your lover, learning to walk just a little bit slower, whispering secrets, I bet you can't keep it. No turning back now, this time we reveal it. One to another, all will discover the essence within the most beautiful lover. Time is still turning, the love is still burning. Deep in your spirit, your heart still yearning for. Over and over, life is your life. time we repeat it. One to another, all will discover the essence within the most beautiful lover. Time is still turning, the love is still burning.